What's up, guys? Doomwake here. Welcome back to another modern video on the channel. As always, before we continue, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the video. Today, we are going to be exploring some of the M. Hayashi, what I like to call M. Hayashi nonsense. I know M. Hayashi is a really prolific content creator, does a lot of good stuff, and has been working on this Obosh mono red deck for quite some time. And I know this deck has gone through countless iterations. I've seen versions with Hammer of Garden. I've seen, I've seen a lot of wild stuff. This particular deck list is one that I copied from the top 16 of the most recent Modern Showcase Challenge this past Saturday. And I gotta admit, I normally am not a huge fan of these decks, but this one just kind of looks clean. We're playing the best one drops, Dragon's Rage Channeler and Ragavan. We're no longer playing any of the prowess creatures. You'll notice here we have 16 creatures, none of them have prowess. So we're not kind of utilizing the aggression that you would normally see in a mono red deck with Swiftspear and Soulscar Mage, and we're utilizing kind of some more mid-rangey elements with, Obosh being expensive but powerful play. It's also just an extra card. Fury Fury is just awesome right now. There's just so many things. I think it's kind of funny, when we were going during spoiler season, we looked at the elementals. A lot of people thought Grief was pre-ban and Subtlety was the next Force of Will. And I think the way it played out, I think those two are actually probably the two weakest of the five. So, and I personally, I think Fury might be the best position of all the five elementals in the format right now. Given how much Dragon's Rage Channeler and Ragavan is going around, you can frequently get, kill 2 or maybe 3 or sometimes even 4 creatures with a Fury. And even when you're pitching a card, sometimes you're even on cards, sometimes you're up in the exchange, sometimes you just get the 5 mana on hardcast Fury, especially when you have Ragavan. You can even hardcast it on turn 3 with 2 Ragavan hits, which is pretty busted. But yeah, this is more like a mono red mid-range deck, and I think that's kind of why I like it. Previous versions, like I said, with Soulscar and Swiftspear, those versions in the past have kind of tried to thread the needle or walk the line between aggression and mid-range. And this particular list is kind of just going full ham and just forgetting all of the aggression. That being said, you still have some powerful aggressive draws with turn 1 Ragavan. Sometimes that can just snowball out of control. But again, we're utilizing a lot of removal spells. We have Firebolt, Flame Slash, Lightning Bolt, Seal Fire, Unholy Heat, and Spikefield Hazard. Seal Fire notably turns on Delirium for Dragon's Rage Channeler as well as Unholy Heat. The one thing I will note that is absent in this deck list that you see in almost every Dragon's Rage Channeler deck is Mishra's Bauble. The reason for that is because we're deciding to companion Obosh, so we can't really play main deck Bauble if we want to companion Obosh. So there's kind of a trade-off there. So we'll have to see if that how that materializes. But yeah, most of this stuff is pretty straightforward. Blood Moon also, the combination of Blood Moon plus Fury is really good against elementals because there are going to be spots where, maybe you're on the draw and you can't play Blood Moon until they already have some stuff in play. But if you slam a Blood Moon, they now can't cast any more spells. And then Fury, they're bored the turn after, or even the same turn if you can pitch cast Fury. That's usually good enough to clean it up. So we'll go ahead and see how this goes. Spikefield Hazard, I guess, is in the spell slot, but probably should be more so in the lance. Maybe we'll do a 2 and 2. Sometimes you play this as a lance, sometimes you don't. But, this deck has a decent number of lands to be able to get up to cast Obosh. It's just really clean. Just good efficient removal. Delirium to turn on Channeler and Holy Heat. Pyromancer, once you're out of gas. Pyromancer in this deck with a bunch of 1s and Fury, which essentially can sometimes cost 0 mana. Pyromancer is a really good way to kind of refuel you after you've gone for maybe a pitch cast Fury. So that's kind of cool too. And then, just kind of a bunch of, like I said, good removal. Sideboard, we got Shattering Spree for Urza Saga, Hammer Time, Relic of Progenitus for Living End and other Lurrus decks. Void Mirror for Cascade and Bring to Light, some Kozilek's Returns if people are still playing Sanctifier, and then obviously our Obosh. The last thing I do want to touch on is the mana base. It looks kind of strange for a mono red deck to have this many sort of utility lands, but that's kind of the benefit, right? You're only playing one color, which means you can kind of get away with playing all these utility lands. which sometimes are awkward with Blood Moon. But the theory, I guess, most of the time is that when you have Blood Moon, it's usually, you're ahead, or sometimes it's just winning the game by itself. And the games where you don't have Blood Moon, you have access to a lot of sweet lands. Like you have Blast Zone, Den of the Bugbear for longer games, Shinka to make your Ragavan a little bit better, as well as Obosh. So I do like the fact that we are kind of playing some utility lands. Might be awkward with Blood Moon, but when we don't have Blood Moon or our Blood Moon gets discarded or destroyed, the utility lands can definitely come up. So I guess we're going to call this Mono Red Midrange, not Mono Red Prowess, huh? But anyways, that was everything I think I wanted to go over in the deck tech, so I won't keep you waiting any longer. I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 1. Alrighty, YouTube, we're here for round number 1 with what I'm going to dub as Mono Red Control, because we don't have any Prowess creatures. Let's see what we got. Opponent reveals Luris, and... So I think this hand's okay. It has 2 removal spells against Hammer Time, and... Well, I guess this hand's not great against the Grixis Luris decks, but I don't know. For the most part, against those decks, I just like keeping hands that have 7 cards in them. Just, the matchups are usually come down to, like, resource battles and attrition battles, and... Well, that's kind of the card we didn't want to see, although Fury is quite good against them, so... I'm going to fetch main phase, so they can't respond and do some weird stuff. Hopefully we can get some more creatures out of this Fury. I'm going to let that go. I could kill the Sentinel in response, but I have a good feeling they're going to play some... Okay, sure. Well, I guess killing the Sentinel in response would have been bad, because then they would have just played Ornithopter and got the man off the drum anyways, so... So they have a Hammer... And attack for 1, that's fine, we'll take it. And they have 2 cards left. I think I'm just going to cast Fury. That's actually pretty decent, too. So now we can go Fury, Pitch on Holy Heat, kill these 2, dash Ragavan. I think I like that. So then we get a treasure which we can hold up Heat/Bolt with, which is kind of nice. And pass. Alright, what did we exile? I think it was on land, right? Yeah, it's plains. It's kind of the card we didn't want to see. I'll take a Blood Moon. Blood Moon would be probably our best draw, because it shuts off the Saga and the Ink Moth. Well, now this gets more interesting. I could just put Obosh into my hand, and then they probably go Luris Sentinel, or they could just make a Construct. It's bad. It's bad. It's all bad. I'm going to dash Ragavan, I think, because I can also still Obosh if I want to, because I'm going to have a second treasure. Yeah. I guess if I tap out, I lose the Pure Steel Paladin. I mean, the thing is, if I don't try to, like, Obosh them, I'm just going to get buried by this Saga. I think I'm just going to Obosh here. Like, yeah, I don't know, maybe tapping out's bad here, but... Like, I feel like doing nothing is also just really bad against the Saga. I guess I'm only utilizing one of my mana, because the treasures can pay for Obosh at any time anyway, so maybe this is just bad. Because if they have Paladin, they just go tap 2 planes, play Paladin, tap Drum, Paladin, animate Nexus, Metalcraft, equip Hammer, and then I die. Alright, looks like they're casting Luris, which I think I'm sort of okay with. Okay. This actually isn't that bad, because they're foregoing making a Construct. And I mean, I think I can beat the board. I mean, they get 1 Construct anyways, but... So I definitely want to kill the Luris. The question is, do I also want to kill the Sentinel, or just hold up my removal? think what I'll do is, so I'm on creature, or excuse me, creature land. This would be an instant for third type. So then if I draw Seal of Fire, I can have the Unholy Heat turned on. Excuse me, which I think is pretty important. So I'm going to bolt the Lurrus, pay a mana, and then just play Ragavan. Oops, not that. This. I think I like this. The reason I'm saving the Unholy Heat is because if I get to Delirium, I can actually kill a construct that's larger than a 3/3, and it's already going to be a 4/4, actually 5/5, so... I guess they could also just get a Welding Jar, huh? Alright, they get the Swiftspear, which they can equip, and if they have another land, they can actually make, like, they can have hold up instant speed Inkmoth to have their construct be a 7/7, which means I can't even touch it with heat. Okay, it's going to be tough to beat. It's hard to beat Sagas when you don't draw Blood Moon. I think overall this matchup is sort of decent, because Blood Moon is just really good. Really? I'll take that trade all day. My Ragavan's kind of a blank anyways. I'm kind of surprised they offered that trade. Huh. Well, sorcery is the missing type. The only thing is... God, this is awkward. Well, what if I just played Obosh? Again, still dead to Pure Steel Paladin. Paladin, animate... Because they would need a land. No, they wouldn't need a land, right? 2, play Paladin. 1, Inkmoth, equip, reactivate, attack. Okay. But I don't want to just fire off a Firebolt, because Firebolt is the 4th type, right? Instant creature land. But I don't want to just dome them with a Firebolt to heat the construct. I'd rather just, like, playing Obosh just lets me use all of my mana this turn, and then I can maybe, like, kill more things next turn with Firebolt and Unholy Heat. So, again, risky, but... Risky, but high upside. Alright, Silent Clearing has been activated, looks like. Tapping the Nexus. Okay. Well, I guess Pure Steel Paladin's still pretty bad for me, right? Because they just slap the hammer and the Swiftspear on the construct. And then that's 15, I have to chump block. Oh. They just have another hammer. I mean... Do I realistically have any outs if I chump block? I don't think so. Like, yeah, I get it, I'm dead to hammer, but if I chump block, I can't beat the hammer anyways, right? I think it's going to be a 15-15. Even if I draw a second heat, I only have 14 damage, right? So, like, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm dead to hammer, but I can't beat it anyways, so... At least I don't think so. Alright, Shattering Spree is good. Kozilek's Return, also good. I'm not a fan of the sorcery speed removal, because you kind of have to interact on their turn, so I'm actually going to cut Flame Slash, and I'm going to trim on 2 Firebolts. I think that makes the most sense to me. Like, the sorcery, you already have Fury as your sort of sorcery speed removal spell of choice. I get that Shattering Spree is also a sorcery, but it's much higher upside than something like Flame Slash that's just a 1-for-1. Especially when they have Urza Saga going and you don't have a Blood Moon. You kind of need something to just clean everything up. And that's kind of what Shattering Spree is there for. So this makes sense to me. See if we can kind of... Alright, what do we got? I don't know what I was trying to say there. Anyways, Channeler, Seal of Fire, Blood Moon. This hand seems dope. I'm going to keep Channeler on 1, Seal of Fire on 2, hold up if they have combo, and then we can just slam Moon on 3. Sand seems pretty good against most of their good starts. I guess it's not the best against Sanctifier, but it's good against any draw involving Urza Saga. So let's hope they have a lot of Urza Sagas in hand. Sigarda's Aid, pass. Okay. Shattering Spree, not the best. Alright, Seal, I don't want that. I probably should have fetched first, but... Alright, attack for 1. Not even going to show them I have the Blast Zone quite yet. There's also some consideration to holding on to the Blast Zone It's going to sound a little far-fetched, but there's a world where I play Blood Moon, it dies, right? Like, I play Blood Moon and then I play Blast Zone. I don't have a choice now. I'm just going to kill this thing. But there's a world where I play Blood Moon. It dies. I don't want a second Shattering Spree. And then, so like I play Blood Moon, then the turn after I play Blast Zone, it enters the battlefield with 0 counters, then Blood Moon dies. That leaves me the opportunity to Blast Zone for 0. So, just something small to think about that might never come up and probably won't, but you never know. Esper Sentinel. Well, this is good for me. Because now I can just spree those. And they're on 3 cards. I'm going to actually leave them with the hammer in play, I think. Because if I put the hammer into their graveyard, they can lure us back the hammer. So I think it's actually better to leave the hammer in play. So I'm just not going to replicate it. Would I like to pay 11 generic mana? No thanks. Oh, I'm stupid. I should have played the Channeler first. That is a 4th type. So it gets the beatdowns a little bit quicker with Channeler, but it's my only answer to Lurrus, so I think I'm going to top it. Alright, well, I sort of didn't get punished because I would have topped anyways. And I think I'm going to hold the land for now. I guess I could also just go upstairs with the Spike Field to turn on the Channeler. So that's 17. They take 3, go to 14, right? And then they're at 14 and I have 6. Which is a 3-turn clock, as opposed to 1 this turn. Let's assume 7 next turn. That puts them to 10, and then it's still a 2-turn clock. So the clock doesn't actually change whether I cast the hazard or not. So I'm just gonna do 1 then. At least I don't think so. Pretty sure it's the same. And also, I think I'd rather just keep a removal spell in hand if they have a follow-up Sentinel or something like that. Looks like just Lurrus. Cranial Plating. Okay. Do they also have a Paladin? They have an Ornithopter, sure. And they have 2 cards. Sure. Do I want to play around a second hammer? Because I can main phase the Unholy Heat on the Ornithopter to start attacking, but if I have a second hammer, it's quite bad for me. I could get a little risky here and go Spikefield, Hazard, Season Pyromancer, discard the Unholy Heat, and just hope to draw a 1-mana removal spell. And that's really nice because I get to attack. Well, I guess then they just trade, right? They just go block. Trade happens. It's also a little risky. But if I play Unholy Heat on the Ornithopter and if they have Hammer, then where am I at? I guess then they can't block the Channelers. And then I can play Pyromancer to chump block the Ornithopter. That's actually not that bad, right? Because their thing loses flying. I mean, I'd be dead to Shadowspear, but I think that's actually decent. So let's go ahead and do that. I actually like that play. I don't want another Blood Moon. I think I'm going to keep the Fury, though. No, they just said nothing. Okay. Well, I guess that makes things easier. I don't know. Played my land for the turn, right? Okay. But yeah, I think even if they have a second hammer, I think my play is still decent because if I force the hammer pre-combat, their Ornithopter loses flying, which means they then can't block the Channeler, and then I can follow up with the Pyromancer to chump block the Ornithopter, or I could even just take I could just take a hit for 1 turn, right? Because it would only be 1, 2, 3, 4, it'd be 14, so I could even just take 1 hit and then block, and then I'm still winning the race with the Channelers, so I think that made sense. Alright, going to game number 3, I still think I like the way I sideboarded. Again, the sorcery speed removal kind of awkward. You could maybe make an argument for trimming on Pyromancer if you wanted to keep in 1 more Firebolt, which on the draw I think is pretty reasonable. Let's do that. I don't want to get clogged up on Pyromancers when I'm on the draw. I just want to make sure I can interact early and often. So I think this makes sense. All right, game number 3. Let's see what we got. Playing against Hammer Time. Yeah, see, this is one of those hands where it's like, I think this hand's fine, but having the sorcery speed removal spell is really awkward. That being said, I mean, it's certainly better than having a second Pyromancer, so I'm going to keep this hand even though it's like kind of clogged on 3s. Maybe I should mulligan this because Blood Moon is so good. And this hand's kind of weak to Saga. Alright, drawing the instant speed removal spell is decent. Honestly, with this hand, we just really want to hit our land drops and hope they don't have Saga. Okay. Okay. It's not great for us, but we do have the Kozilek's Return. I think I'm not going to show them the Blast Zone yet, because by not showing them the Blast Zone, they're more likely to commit more stuff, and then I can sweep it up with Kozilek's Return. Now, obviously, this all backfires if they just have, 8 plus Hammer, and we have to Shattering Spree, but let's hope they don't have 8 plus Hammer. Okay. This is acceptable. This is acceptable. They're going to play the Hammer. So I actually don't even have to cast the Kozilek's Return yet. Alright, I'll take 2. Thin my deck. Now that I've drawn the land, I think I don't really want a 4th land. And I believe I can just pass. See, the awkward part about playing the Blast Zone is they're not going to commit a Pure Steel Paladin this turn. Because if they commit a Pure Steel Paladin, then I can just go end step, tick up Blast Zone, untap, pop it for 2. But they might commit some other stuff. Like maybe they go to attack with Nexus. Although this all kind of backfires if they just play Aid pre-combat. But if they had Aid, they would have held the Hammer, right? So they probably don't have Sigarda's Aid. We shall see. I'm sort of playing with my hand face up, because why else would I just do stone cold nothing in the first 3 turns when I have, you know what I mean? So it's like I'm telegraphing Kozilek's Return pretty hard, but maybe they just can't play around it? Alright, this is all fine. So I just get it all? Okay, cool. I'm in. I guess they decided they couldn't play around it. We take those. We take those. Alright. Wave number 1 down. They still have Aluris, so, there's always that thing to consider. But how about casting Seasoned Pyromancer? A little bit risky if I brick on land. Potentially, but I do really want to hit my land drops, and I kind of want to discard some of these, like, sorcery speed stuff. I'm going to keep the... No, I'm actually going to discard the Channeler, because if I hit a land, I'm not even going to... Obviously, you're a tapped land. If I hit a land, I'm not going to play the Channeler, because I'm just going to hold up heat anyways. But... Well, now as long as I don't die this turn, we should be good. Maybe that was a reason to not play the Pyromancer, just guarantee that we... Opponent said definitely not ghosting. I'm actually not streaming right now, but... That's funny. Sack Canopy. Another Sanctifier. It does make things a little awkward, because now I have to cast this at the Kozilek's Return before I can start doing stuff, but... So I guess I'm just gonna pass? Well, no, because I can just take up the Blast Zone, right? I still want to pass, so I can take up the Blast Zone this turn, but... Yeah, I'll just pass. Then we can end step, take up Blast Zone, untap, pop it for 2, still leave up removal. Should be good this game. Giver of Runes. That's fine. Maybe I want to cast Kozilek's Return now. So they're going to lure us. No, I'd still rather tick up Blast Zone, because I'm going to tick up Blast Zone, putting it to 2, and they're going to be able to go... I think I'm going to heat the Giver too while we're at it. Yeah. This is good. Because if I cast Kozilek's Return, then they can just go land Lurrus Sanctifier, and then my Blast Zone's still on 1. Well, I guess I would just leave up the Blast Zone in that case, but... okay, so land... So now if I sack Blast Zone, this dies, I attack for 4. They go land, Lurrus Sanctifier, then I can Kozilek's Return, so I think that's good. I'm not going to blow up the hammer, I'm just going to pass my mana up. And if they don't have a land, they can't play the Sanctifier, then I can just kill the Lurrus and we're okay, so... I think everything is mostly fine. Can maybe start giving him the beatdowns with the Den of the Bugbear. I have not yet attacked with this card yet, but it seems kind of cool. Some late game stuff. Obviously, it's awkward to, like, you're playing Blood Moon with a bunch of utility lands, but the theory is, in games where you don't draw Blood Moon, your utility lands are good, and most of the time when Blood Moon is good, it's just winning the game by itself anyways, so you don't really need these lands. Because Blood Moon's doing all the heavy lifting. Alright, there's a Lurrus, that's fine. So I assume they're going to cast Giver? Yep. Well, now I could just Fury, right? Yeah, I could just Fury. Hopefully I draw land. I think I'm actually going to pitch cast Fury. That's a little cowardly, but, like, I don't know. I just don't really see how I'm losing if I'm holding a Bolt and K return. So, like, yeah, I'm speeding off a ton of value here, but I'm already up on cards a bunch, and I just, you know, have all the interaction in the world, so... Maybe could have put Obosh into my hand, but then I'm losing the ability to play Kozilek's Return and Lightning Bolt in case that matters, so... I don't know. I mean, it probably doesn't matter at this point, but... I just want to make sure there's no possible way I can die. Whereas if I cast Fury, they could just go, like, you know, Sigarda's Aid, Animate, Hammer, you're dead. So, no, I don't think there's a reason to tap out there when we're this far ahead. Alright, 1 poison coming in. Even get to animate the Den for full value. Just for the memes. The Den. Getting him with the Den. Well, we can safely say that Den of the Bugbear won us that game by a mile. Am I right? Anyways, that was match number 1. I'll see you back in just a little bit for number 2. Alrighty, YouTube, 1-0. We're here for round number 2. Let's see if we can keep it going. Opponent has shown us a Lurrus Companion. I'm going to keep this hand. This hand's maybe a little sketch against Hammer Time because Ragavan is kind of awkward on the draw. But hopefully they're just playing Mill. I don't know if that's better or worse for us. I also have no idea if this matchup's good or not. I mean, I gotta Firebolt this, right? I think I have to. Alright, did. I'm not gonna fetch yet. Maybe I'm supposed to fetch early to turn on their, like... Whereas, if I wait on fetching, I'm allowing them to get more draw steps towards Archive Traps, and maybe it makes more sense to just fetch as early as possible. Alright, I'm gonna dash Ragavan. This play might be bad. If they just have a counterspell, but I have a second Ragavan, so if they interact with this one, it's not that bad for me. Right, attack for 2. What do we got? Alright, Delta, your turn. Maybe they won't play around Blood Moon. Maybe we'll just get the Blood Moon then. Oh, darn it. Basic island. Our deck is also not great against Tasha's Hideous Laughter because I guess we have 4 Furies, but that's it. 4 Furies, 8 3-drops, then everything else is 1. So Tasha's Hideous Laughter probably pretty good against us. Let's hope they don't have that card. Looks like they don't. Just YOLO Jam Blood Moon. I kind of want to, actually. They're surgicaling? They paused in my draw step. It looked like they have surgical. I mean, I'm just going to cast Blood Moon. Not only does it shut off double blue for, like, potential Hideous Laughters. Okay. And we'll just play the Den. Sucks that we drew the Den on turn 3, because I wanted to be able to play Ragavan there, but, you know, is what it is. I was hoping the Blood Moon resolved, because then our land would have come into play untapped, so I could have played the Ragavan, but... Tasha's milling 16. Exiling, excuse me. And we have 29 cards. And they have a second basic island, so now Blood Moon is not very good. Drew Shinka. Are they going to surgical... Surgicaling Blood Moon, interesting. When they already have 2 islands in play? I mean, sure, I'm down. I was not planning on casting Blood Moon this turn. Although maybe I would have. Maybe I would have went like Dash Ragavan, play Blood Moon. Kind of surprised that they actually care about the Blood Moon with 2 islands in play, though. Interesting. Alright, well, we're probably going to Dash Ragavan and then put Obosh in our hand. And they have 2 cards left? This doesn't feel great. Ooh, don't want to try and mill them? I don't think so. Is this play good? Well, I'm already here. I don't know if this play is actually good because the Ragavan gets picked up, so I can't cast the Obosh unless I find an untapped land. So maybe that was bad. Maybe I'm supposed to just play Spikefield Hazard, Hedron Crab. I mean, there's just no way the Crab is relevant, right? I can't imagine the Crab is ever going to be relevant. They're at 15. This game's going to be rough. They have another Tasha's. Okay. Okay. I can maybe beat that. Strong maybe. Very strong maybe. So I think I just dash Ragavan. And then I'll have 3 mana post-combat. It'd be funny if I hit like a surgical. I could surgical their Crab to make their Lurrus bad. What's my other alternative? Just like hardcast Ragavan, play tap land, go. I mean, I could just honestly hardcast the Ragavan after dashing one. It just doesn't really make sense to not dash here. Because I have all these tap lands. Alright, what do we got? Give me something good, mill opponent. Most of their cards are probably not good for us, so... I think I'm actually going to play the other Ragavan too, just to keep one in play. Keep this one. I know it looks like kind of a spew, and it is, sort of. But if their turn is going to be Lurrus plus Crab, they're likely just going to be tapped out anyways. Now that you're Tasha's. Because this is definitely not a Lurrus. Well, never mind. Looks like it is. Alright. So, Lurrus, Crab. It's fine. Okay. They still have 3 cards in hand. Alright, I'm going to heat the Crab in response. And then what I can do is I get to go Obosh, hardcast Spikefield Hazard on the Lurrus, and then attack for 4. They have Island. Okay. Alright, so Obosh, Hardcast Spike Field Hazard, dealing 2 to the Lurrus, and then attacking with the Ragavan. So they go to 8, and we're on 21 cards. What's this? Surgical Spike Field Hazard. Okay, sure. Deal. Got a Drown in the lock. That's not very good. But they're on 6, and we have lethal. Cycle Visions. That's good for us. That is a good start. Even if they kill Obosh, we still have lethal rate with the Den. Oh, 4 cards. Hold. Hold. No. No. So close. 1 card off. They got us for Xaxes. So close. Alright. Game number 2. We got Relics, which I think are decent, and I believe that's it. I don't really want Kozilek's Return. Relic is especially nice because it turns off, not only does it turn off their graveyard for Lurrus, but it also turns off your own graveyard for Drown in the Lock and Visions of Beyond. So Relic does some double duty here. And I believe I'm just going to cut Flame Slash because I think it's my worst removal, and I have enough stuff to kill crabs anyways, like Firebolt, Seal... Well, I guess the argument is the shocks don't touch the O3 crabs, so maybe I'd rather cut some of the shocks. Like, maybe I'd rather do... Firebolt's decent because it's like free graveyard value, though, and Seal of Fire turns on Channeler. So there's definitely arguments to keeping in all of this. It's like, if I'm going to have 4 or 6 removal spells out of this 10, what's the 6 best ones? Is it really just 2 of each? I mean, they all have different utility, right? They all offer different spaces. I know that sounds kind of lazy, but I guess 2 of each is also better against Surgical, right? In some weird scenario. Okay, sure. I mean, I'll buy it. I convinced myself to play 2 of each, and I think it's reasonable. This matchup used to be pretty good for prowess, but we've slowed our deck down a lot, and that's why I think that this matchup might actually be bad now. Like, we just have too much removal and not enough, like, early pressure, and that's kind of what this hand is, exactly what this hand is doing. I'm going to mulligan this. I don't think I can keep a hand that has that much removal. This hand's a lot better. I'm going to put back Fury, I think, because it's my slowest card. And I just have, like, 2 Channelers plus a bunch of removal. Channeler is really good against them because they almost always turn on Delirium. Alright, didn't get trapped. So they play Crab, and then I go land, Channeler, Bolt. Or they don't play a Crab, and that's fine with me. I will attack for 1 damage. I will play a second Channeler. I'm actually going to fetch main phase, because they didn't have the trap last turn. So they would have had exactly 1 draw step towards the trap, and I'm just fetching now, so that if they draw the trap next turn, they can't cast it. So I'm choosing to fetch on my turn. Just giving them less opportunity to cast the trap. Blue-black, drown that. I could have bolted them, and maybe I should have. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I probably should have bolted them there. I thought I wanted to save the bolt for Crab, but now I kind of want to just play Pyromancer. This does turn on the Channeler, though, so it's not too bad. Blood Moon's also an exceptional draw. So, yeah, I should have bolted them, which would have given me a Surveil. 1 less Elemental, but it would have been 3 more damage. So, this is a Crab. Crab. Blue-black. Another drown? Seems like it. No, maybe not. Maybe they're changing their mind. So do I want to bolt upkeep to try and hit a land for Blood Moon? Nah, because I think I'd rather just find a 1-drop or another burn spell. Like, not casting Blood Moon this turn is not hugely detrimental. Okay. Well, I guess I'll do it now. Because now it's kind of a free roll. I wonder if they're going to counter this. Because it seems like they have Drown. They went to cast Drown main phase, I think, because they tapped black mana. And I think they changed their mind. So it feels like they have Drown. But I don't know if they're going to kill this or counter this. Not sure. I kind of feel like they should still be killing this, but... maybe they feel like they need to grab the win. They are countering it, okay. Graveyard that. We'll just attack with everything first, and then slam a Blood Moon. So they block Pyro, take 5, go to 9. Blocking Elemental, going to 8. Okay. Cast Blood Moon. That kind of kills the crab. Because they block the elemental. I feel like we have better draw steps. I'm gonna bin that. I feel like on average our draw step is maybe Shock is just our average draw step. I mean, even a land's not that bad now that we have the Pyromancer in the graveyard, but I'm not sure there. Okay, so 33 cards. And exactly 20 in the graveyard for visions, which they do have. Yeah, maybe binning the Shock there was bad. So I just kill the Ruin Crab now. Attack with everything they block here, take 6, go to 2. Yeah. I think that's my best play. Then I can put Obosh in my hand. Well, that one's going to go in my graveyard because I can cast that from my graveyard. Alright, so attack with everything. They block Elemental, take 6, go to 2. But then they need a sweeper of sorts. Or they need to somehow mill us enough with a Blood Moon in play, which I don't think they can actually do. Because Tasha's, we still have at least 2 Furies. I can imagine Tasha's is not going to be lethal by itself. Like maybe land plus Tasha's? Or I guess Crab plus land plus Tasha's? I don't know. See what they do. Blue, blue, red. Tasha's? Yep. Alright, 9 cards. Cycle Sanity, and that's not enough. I guess they could Soul Guide Lantern to turn off the Channeler. Well, that wouldn't do it, right? They block the Pyromancer, still take 3. I think we're good. Alright, opponent agrees. Game number 3. Alright, let's go. Alright, let's see if we can get the crabs. Spike Field Hazard always showing up at awkward times. I'm going to keep this hand, but I don't love it. I don't love it. It does have Ragavan, so, I mean, there is that, but... Profane Memento. The nice thing about that card is we actually don't have that many creatures. We only have 16. It's a decent amount, but it's not a ton. So, yeah, that card's probably going to gain them, on average, I don't know. I mean, if they mill over every other creature, we have 2. You can do the math, but, I don't know, beatable. Let's attack first. See what they do. I think I'm just going to go Channeler Relic. Is there any reason to play that? Is there any reason not to play it? Because if they kill it, it goes to their graveyard for Luris. That's a good reason not to play it. Alright, Channeler. And I also get to hold up Bolt this way, which might be more relevant. I don't want to draw that. Oh. This was bad, because now they can drown the Relic. Well, they didn't. They chose not to. Yeah, I should have actually kept that, because I didn't want them to drown the Relic. Okay, this is fine. Blue crab, sure. Crab is fine. Hmm. I guess I just bolt the crab now, right? Yeah. I don't really want to draw that. Okay, that's fine. Field of Ruin. So I'm actually going to start relicking myself. Just to make my graveyard smaller for like visions and drown purposes. I will attack for 5. So they go to 13. We have to see what we want to do here. Drown in the Lock, I'm not going to cast. I would kind of like to keep up Relic to counter drowns and visions and all that. Excuse me, all that stuff. So why don't we just go Seal of Fire, Firebolt, play land. Alright, I'm not going to cast the Firebolt anymore because I want to keep my card. Hypothetically, I could cycle Relic to draw a card if they were to mill over the Bolt. But that also turns off my Channeler, so I might not want to do that. Okay, that's fine. Sure. I was gonna say I could have milled, I could have drawn there, but I think it's worth it. Because I can just kill the Ruin Crab anyways, with Firebolt plus Seal of Fire if I need to. Okay, untap. Alright, let's kill the crab. Let's kill the crab. I'm just going to fetch him response, right? But I mean, this was going to happen either way. So I could have Furied the crab. Let to pitch the Ragavan, though, and then I get to keep the Firebolt. But I think this is... I think I'd rather keep the Fury. Not sure. Could be wrong about that. I guess this also lets them Field of Ruin. But because my removal spell is a sorcery, there's no way I can get the crab in response to a fetch anyways. Because my hand was just Firebolt plus Fury, both are sorceries. So there's no opportunity for me to get the crab in instant speed. So this was the only way I was going to be able to do it. How much life did this memento gain them? 1, 2, 3? That's it? Did I exile a creature or no? No, just 3. 3. A 1, a 2, a 3. Not quite sure what they're doing. Graveyard. Just gonna kill it now so I can attack with Ragavan. Alright, they're gonna field me. They are going to Field of Ruin me. Well, that's actually kind of dope because you might get to cast Fury post-combat. Because they have to Fury... Oh, they're going to do this. Interesting. Well, I have another Ragavan. I could just let that go. I could counter it with Relic, but that makes my Dragon's Rage Channeler smaller. And I also just have another Ragavan anyways. So I think that's just okay. Alright, kill that. Dash. Attack for 5, they go to 9. We still get to hold up the Relic. I'm just not going to play that crab. Alright, go. Go. They are on 3 cards. We have a 2-turn clock. Still get to keep this Relic in play, which is nice. Yep, cycle's fine. As you can see, Relic is just really good against them because it shuts off a lot of their cards. I mean, we could have countered the Drown if we wanted to, but we had the second Ragavan, so I just didn't really see a reason to. And it just keeps the pressure on with the Channeler, so. But again, it just invalidates so many of their cards, like Visions and Drown and all this stuff. It gets so much worse with Relic. Basic Swamp. Choosing not to put Lurrus into their hand, which is interesting. Exile a land. Oh, doesn't matter. Alright, untap. Untap. Dash Ragavan. Now, if they drown this, I'll probably pop the Relic. It does make my clock a little bit smaller, but I think it's worth popping the Relic now. Alright. I guess it would suck if they also had a Fatal Push, but... Attack for 3, they go to 6. We get a Ragavan trigger. I still think I'm not going to play their crabs. Obosh? Yeah, Obosh is probably fine. It does mean I lose 2 treasures, but I think it's good. Like, there's a chance I can't cast the Obosh next turn. Maybe that was bad. But if I don't put Obosh, what am I really doing? Just do nothing? I just pass? I don't really think casting the crab is relevant at all, so... Alright, now they're going to Lurrus. And they're not going to cast the Lurrus? Okay. Okay. Dash. So they go to 2. They drew Fatal Push. Sure. So they go to 7, they go to 5. And then I guess I'll just cast the Ragavan. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, their last card's Lurrus. I think casting Ragavan's good. Might as well. Assume they're not going to fetch, which they don't. So they can play Lurrus. They can play a Naked Lurrus, which doesn't really do that much. What's their best draw? I don't know. I mean, I would assume some mill spell of sort, but that plus Lurrus is probably not going to get it done, so... Alright, they're choosing to jam the Lurrus, which, sure, it's fine. The Blood Moon does not really do all that much, so let's just Fury pitch the Blood Moon and tag the Lurrus, put them to 1. Alright, Lurrus down. It's fine, they go to 6. They go to 2, yeah, from the thing. Can't quite cast the Obosh here. Attack for 4, they go to 2. Everything's fine. I guess I'll play around Bantu's Last Reckoning and not cast the Obosh. Sure. I think that's fine. You never know. And, like, even if they cast a mill spell with a Profane Memento in play, let's say they mill 5 creatures and go to 7, we can just play the Obosh, and all of our stuff is doubled, so it's 8 damage anyway, so I think it's worth playing around a sweeper there, because I feel like that's one of the other ways we can lose. 2-0, sweet. I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 3. Alrighty, YouTube, round 3 time. Let's go. 2-0 with Obosh. See if we can keep it going. Appears that our opponent has a companion, Lurrus. Shocker. Alright, I'm in. This hand's got a lot of removal. This hand seems pretty good against Hammer Time, and also pretty decent against the Grixis / red-black decks, because it's got Pyromancer, and that's one of our better cards against them. Playing Prowess. Okay. This has got to be a good matchup, right? I mean, they have Lurrus, but we have Spikefield Hazard. Kill this thing. Our deck is just really good at trading. Like trading, you know, 1 for 1, and then we have Pyromancers and stuff as 2 for 1s. We also have Blast Zone, so... I'm just going to use my mana, and what I believe to be the weakest card in my hand, and just cast this thing now. Notably, this also exiles, so they can protect with mutagenic growth, but like gut shot me. Okay. Let's go here. Let's just do it now. If they have mutagenic growth, they have to cast it there, and then we take less damage, and I think it makes sense to do it there. Okay. So I could bolt something now. What I kind of want to do is bolt into Pyromancer. But if I draw a red card... No, I think it's better to do it this way. I think it's better to go untap, play land. I can go Fury, pitch a card, and then Pyromancer discard the other one. So I can kill both of the things and then draw 2, make 2 guys with Pyromancer, or make 1 guy. So I think that's fine. Pitch the instant so I can keep the sorcery in my graveyard. For delirium purposes. Might be a spew discarding a removal spell here, but... Ooh, that's one of our worst cards. What do we have on the sideboard to bring in instead of that? Probably just relics, maybe Ghostlight's Return. Ground Rift. They went deep. Alright, attack for 3. So I guess they're doing like the Niv Magus elemental stuff, because they have Ground Rift. Obosh, and play a Channeler. Pass turn. Do they have Leonin, Light Scribe? Okay. Alright, let's just go Crack Mesa, get Basic Mountain, play Obosh. Probably leave back the Elemental. Hopefully they don't have Crash Through. But I guess we have the Obosh to block. But this is a 10-point attack, so... I think this is Gucci. Leave back the Elemental, because it does not deal double damage, because it's an even mana cost. Worth noting, tokens are even mana cost for Obosh, so they do not deal double. So do not attack with them thinking they deal double. I've made that mistake once or twice. Light up the stage. Okay. Alright, they're off it. Next game. So we can bring in Relic and or Kozilek's Return. We gotta cut these stinky Blood Moons, for sure. Maybe just 2 of each, and not bring in all 4 relics. I could see situations where Relic is decent, because they are a Lurrus deck. But it's one of those things where you don't want to get clogged up on Relic, because you do kind of need to kill every creature they play, so you really can't afford to cut removal for Relic. So I think this is fine. Relic is a card I don't mind drawing, like if the game gets to that stage, but again, every game is not going to get to that stage, so I think this makes sense. Alright, what do you got? This hand is a little sketchy. We do have Blast Zone, though, which is powerful. Is this hand good enough? So what's best case scenario? They play a creature, Spikefield Hazard it, they play another creature, then I play a Ragavan, and now I'm on the back foot. I think this hand's like just barely good enough, but I could see mulliganing it. If you replaced one land with one more piece of interaction, I think this hand's perfect, but it's like, it's so close to being good, you know? It went to 5, which is obviously good. We take those. All right, Monastery, Swiftspear. Well, now I'm just going to lead on Le Monkey. Le Monkey. It's probably going to die, but, you know. Just got to live with it. All right, Le Monkey. They showed us Gut Shot game 1 too, so. Core Firewalker. Well, that's not good. We do have this Blast Zone, but it's going to be a little slow. Alright, cast Seal of Fire. They gain a life. And I guess I'm just going to kill the Swiftspear now. Okay, pass. And go. Maybe they'll play another fire. Oh, I like that. I like to see that. Because now this Blast Zone looks really good. That was really good for us. Because now we can just pass. I might even just chump block the Light Scribe. Because I don't want to take 1,000,000 damage. I guess we could just die this turn, but... Yeah, we could just die. Not a whole lot I could do about it, but... Hopefully we don't die. Red. Say light up the stage. No, sack Canyon. Alright, bolt the Ragavan. So we take 8. Alright, Ragavan down. Take 8. They have 2 cards left. They're at 9. It's a little dicey, especially because they're going to be able to Luris. But they did sack a land, so they're less likely to be able to Luris and play Firewalker in the same turn. So I'll just pass. Fetching Mountain, so I assume this is going to be a Luris. Alright, I'll pop the Blast Zone, as expected. Oh, did they have Boros Charm? That was so stupid. I should have main phased that. I was like trying to get them to play another 2-drop, but obviously they're not going to, and that was so bad if they had Boros Charm. I was kind of hoping they did, because I deserve to get punished for doing. There was no reason to do that. So they have Luris. So what if I go Blast Zone, Pyromancer, discard land, Spike Field Hazard? Okay, this is good. The nice thing about this Luris is they only have 2 white sources, and they really, really want to be able to go Luris into Firewalker. Oh, never mind. Okay, well I can beat this, because I can just kill the Luris and kill the Swiftspear, and then they can't get back the Firewalker. Oh, I can just cast Fury too. Yeah, I'm just gonna cast Fury. I guess this is worse if they have... Oh, this is bad if they have a mutagenic growth, huh? Maybe I should have thought about that. I could have end-stepped the Unholy Heat to, like, bait out the mutagenic growth. Which I probably should have done, because now... I guess I could deal 4 to the Luris. And play around growth that way. Like, do I really care about the Swiftspear? Not really. Yeah, I'm just gonna deal 4 to the Luris. I wanna try and play around growth. But I should have just end-stepped the Unholy Heat, and then if they saved it with growth, then I just untap and kill both. They have double growth? Nope. No attacks. You can go. Clever Lumimancer. Okay. I mean, I'll pop the Blast Zone. I will take that. Do they have the Boros Charm now? And they just baited me into it? I mean, even if they have Boros Charm, I just have 2 removal spells. Oh, I guess I don't have 2 removal spells, but... Alright, attack you. Attack you. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Your turn. Dash Ragavan. I think I will kill that. Just in case they hit Bolt on Fury or Flame Slash. I assume one of their only ways to... Well, I mean, they might just have a Bolt in their hand, but I'm still going to kill it. No reason to let them hit me with it. Alright, heat your Ragavan. They are off it. Cool. 3-0 with mono red control. I feel like these prowess matchups are generally pretty good. I mean, they had like Firewalker, which is a little scary, but they didn't know about the Blast Zone, and we kind of slowed with it a little bit, so that was kind of cool. Anyways, 3-0. The deck seems good so far. I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 4. Alright, YouTube, back here for round number 4. 3-0. Let's see if we can keep it going. Mono red control. Getting the job done. Let's do this. Alright, let's see if it's going to be... Is this 4 Luruses in a row? Our round 1 opponent was playing Lurus, right? It was... I think so. It was Hammer Time, Prowess. What was our last opponent? I can't remember. I can't remember what I ate for breakfast this morning, so... Alright, I want to say this is 4 for 4 on Lurus, but I can't recall one of our opponents. It's at least 3 for 4, though, for sure. Alright, monkey. Monkey. It's a lot of Lurus going around. Looks like Hammer Time. Alright, well, probably just going to Fury those. I'm going to pitch Spikefield Hazard. Alright, 2 and 2. Get him out of here. Attack with Ragavan. Maybe just put Obosh? I'll take a free Memnite. Kind of don't want to sack the... Like, it feels like sacking Treasure to put Obosh into my hand is kind of a spew. Because I'm, like, down a mana to put the Obosh into my hand, but I'm not really ramping into it because I'm being down a Treasure. Whereas I can just go... Turn 3, next turn, put Obosh into my hand, and then the turn after still cast it. I guess it ends up being the same thing, but... I think I like this better. So if they play a blocker, we can just kill it, get in with Ragavan again. Probably should have played Fetch to thin my deck a little bit there, but... Alright, Stoneforge Mystic will probably kill that. And by probably, I mean definitely... They got the hammer. The hammer. Alright, kill your Stoneforge. Attack you for 3. What do we got? We hit an Inkmoth Nexus. I'm going to play the Blast Zone, even though showing it to them is a little awkward, because there's a chance that I might want to, like, play the second one. I guess I can't... 2, 3... Pop the first one. I guess I can't pop the first one and put a counter on the other one, so maybe that was bad. Alright, they have Hammer plus Giver. So now if I pop Blast Zone, I lose my Ragavan. Could just play Obosh this turn. What's the absolute worst that could happen if I play Obosh? They float a mana with Urza's Saga. Get Swiftspear, play Plains, play Pure Steel Paladin. They're still short an artifact though, right? So they would need a Memnite or another 0. I think I'm just down to play Obosh here. And then attack with just Ragavan. If they want to trade, I think I'm okay with that. Because, like, the trade is actually decent for me because I have the Blast Zone in play. I'm actually not going to play the Channeler because there's a good chance I'm popping Blast Zone this turn. So I think playing the Channeler is not great. I guess they're just going to get a 0 off of this, right? Because there's no point in getting a 1 because I have the Blast Zone. I stand corrected. I guess they could have had Needle. Yeah, Needle would suck because they get Needle Blast Zone. Okay, that's fine. Luris? Pure Steel Paladin. Okay. So they can make a giant thing. And I guess equip the mantle. Or maybe they have another shadow, or maybe they have another hammer. Nope. Equip the mantle. Alright. They have 2 cards. Maybe they'll block. Maybe they'll block. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's not quite lethal. Let's deck first. Will they block? They did. Interesting. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it. Maybe they wanted to force the Blast Zone? I don't know. Alright, go. Maybe they forgot about it? There's got to be a reason for it. Choosing not to put Luris into their hand. Okay. I will attack. They take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, should I have cast on... Could have heated my Obosh before damage, but... whatever, just pass. Firebolt only puts them to 1. I guess I could put them to 1 to make it so their canopy is turned off. Probably would have been better to do it that way, yeah. Okay. I think I'm just going to do the same sideboarding as before, where I cut down on a lot of the sorcery speed removal. So Flame Slash, I think, is your weakest one, and then probably after that, Firebolt. Again, Seal of Fire is something you can just kind of leave in play. So even though Seal of Fire is a sorcery, you can play it on turn 1 and then just kind of leave it chilling in play for a while. So I think that's good. Oh, we boarded out a Pyromancer on the draw, didn't we? I think we like that, yeah. We went 3 Pyromancer, 2 Firebolt, which I think is better. Because Pyromancer is just kind of not that great on the draw most of the time. All right, game number 2. Let's go. Okay, I'll keep this. Sand's got a lot of interaction, and it has Fury, which I believe is probably one of our better cards. It's between that and Blood Moon. Blood Moon, surprisingly good against their deck, because it shuts off Saga and Inkmoth Nexus. I guess it's not surprising, but it is quite good against them. Hammer, go. Interesting. If I play Ragavan, what do I get punished by? They have to have, like, land, Paladin, 0/0. I feel like that's reasonably unlikely, so I'm just going to jam the Ragavan. This is worse against ending, I guess, but I don't really want to dash the Ragavan on 2. Oh, yeah. Okay, right. So our plan is definitely going to be to Blast Zone on 2. So I think I'm going to play the Spike Field Hazard and not play the Channeler this turn so I can hold up... No, holding up Bolt doesn't matter, right? Alright, let's do this. Alright, go. Sanctifier Envec is kind of a problem. Hopefully nothing too bad happens, because we do have this Blast Zone. Maybe playing the extra 1-drop is bad, because there's a chance that I want to Blast Zone on 1. Okay. This doesn't seem too bad, because that's another 2 for our Blast Zone. Okay, we have 3 cards. Well, I think our play is kind of forced here. Just Blast Zone, tick up. Don't really have much else we can do. And then next turn we have to pop it. I'm not in love with our position. Because they're going to get to hit us with a giant construct. Okay. It's a bigger construct. Tapping the Saga for mana. Nope, maybe not. Huh. Okay. Oh, do they just have another hammer? I guess we're dead to a second hammer, right? Yeah, well, this is fine. Okay. Guess we are dead. Dead. Did not have the Kozilek's return, unfortunately. Well, that sucked. Let's hope that doesn't happen again. Oh, we're in the play. Do we want the Pyromancer? No, I think this is fine. Alright. Let's hope they don't have Sanctifier again. Seems like the only way they beat you. Maybe this deck just wants to play more Kozilek's return because of that. Seems like you're good against most of their other draws. Because we could have beat pretty much anything that game with that, other than Sanctifier. I mean, I don't think I'm going to mull Ragavan on the play. Ragavan plus a pile of interaction. Again, this hand's super weak to Sanctifier, but we at least get one hit in with Ragavan before they can play Sanctifier, so... Giver of Runes. We can kill that. So let's go Firebolt the Giver, because that's our sorcery speed interaction. Attack with Ragavan. Stoneforge Mystic, which we don't really want to play. And then we'll go Channeler Pass, I think. And pray to God they don't have a Sanctifier. They kept 7 pretty quickly. It seems like they probably do. Man. Alright. Sure, I guess. Man, that's frustrating. I gotta try and find a Blast Zone or a K return, so let's get rid of, I guess, these 2. Ugh. Alright, go. Man. I mean, Blood Moon wouldn't actually be that bad here. Maybe we can just play Blood Moon and stall the game out a little bit if we find a land. Need to find a land, though. Just try to go wide around the Sanctifier. Yeah, maybe if Sanctifier is this much of a problem, you probably just want to play more Kozilek's returns, or maybe just Pyrite Spellbomb. Spellbomb is another like unique card type for Channeler, and also just kills the Sanctifier, so that could be something you want to look towards. Okay. Alright, we need to land here very badly. We need a land very, very badly. I think if we don't draw a land this turn, we probably don't have a shot, but we'll see. Alright, land. Land, 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 land. Oh, man. Alright, go. Man. I was expecting to draw like a, what's the card? Spikefield Hazard, because I didn't have a land. And I was like asking for a land. Oh, you drew an ETB tapped land. I guess Den also comes into play tapped. Just running out the hammers. Oh, do they just have land Paladin? Yeah. So I guess my only out is to kill the Ornithopter and then also kill the Paladin, because I can't let them equip the Sanctifier. And I need to dig for a land here. Alright, we really, really, really need a land. Please! I've drawn so many cards. How many cards have we looked at? Ah, God. Okay, now what? I guess we just pass. Man, that's an unfortunate way to go. I don't really think there was much else we could have done. I thought that, like, the turn that we sacked the treasure token to play Pyromancer, we needed to dig to find an answer to Sanctifier. And then we ended up finding Bloodmoon, which would have been a good card, but we just never found a third land. And we looked at a lot of cards, so... It's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Wasn't meant to be. Floating mana. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. We are dead. Alright, 3-1. Not a very exciting game 3, but nonetheless, game 3. 3-1, hopefully we can get the 4-1. I'll see you back in just a little bit for number 5. Alrighty, YouTube, we're here for the last round. Let's see if we can rally back from that tough loss last match. What do we got? Heat Hazard 5 lands. Don't think I'm into that. I mean, I guess we keep this. I kind of wish they had revealed the Lurrus, because I'd be much happier with a hand of all removal against Lurrus, but keep this, put back Mountain? No, put back the second hazard. Lead on Den, Seal, go. Alright, what you got? What you got for me, opponent? Fiery Islet. Looks like Blue-Red Murktide, probably. Alright. I could save the other seal in case I draw Channeler, but just play it. Just get it into play. I have enough lands where I'm going to save the Spikefield Hazard because I might just want to hardcast it. Next turn, I guess we're probably just going to put Obosh into our hand, which is not great, but... Okay. Alright, I'm going to respond to the trigger so they can't Delirium in response. Because I don't want them getting this to a 4-4 before I can Seal of Fire it. Alright, thin my deck because I don't really want to draw any more lands. I said I didn't want to draw any more lands. Alright, Obosh time. What time is it? Obosh time. I feel like this matchup is not great because you don't have a clean answer to Murktide Regent. The card's just so big. So big. Well, if they play it here, it's only a 4/4. They only have one spell, so we can beat a 4/4. Although not currently. We only have 3 damage right now. Interesting. I guess that cuts them off second blue. I guess I'll cast it. Maybe shutting off Den is worse than cutting them off second blue, but it does make it kind of awkward. They may have to counter this. Yeah, they do. Alright. It's one less counterspell for Obosh. Although, the fact that Obosh just trades 1 for 1 with Unholy Heat is kind of awkward. I guess we also have Heat for Murktide, but... Okay. 15. Maybe we can try and hit them with Den this turn, although if they hold up mana, we're obviously not going to go for it. Got a Mishra's Bauble. They don't hit a land. Okay. Alright, we're definitely going to hit them with Den this turn. Again, I think trying to play Obosh here is a lot worse because they could just, like, imagine I just tap out for Obosh and they have Unholy Heat, you know? Whereas, like, this way I get some pressure going and kind of force them to act. So now they're going to cast Murktide, which is 1, 2, 7? No, 6, 6, right? So if we draw land, it's perfect because we can just go Obosh, Flame Slash, kill it. Oh, they're casting Iteration. That's also decent for us, I think. They hit an island. And main phase Thought Scour, sure. So we just hit them with Den again, right? They go to 6. Or no, they go to 5. Yeah, I'm just gonna hit them with Den again. This card's been pretty decent for me, honestly. Is this the first time I've No, this is the second time I've activated, right? I think only the second. But it's been really good this game. Alright, take 5, go to 5. Your move. It has been quite good. I mean, it's only been good because they missed a bunch of land drops, but, you know. Potato, potato. So, cast Murktide. Den on board? Okay. I guess I just attack first. I guess I'll play Obosh first. Go to attacks. Put them to 3. So that way, if they go to tap the mana, so they're at 3, the Seal of Fire would essentially kill them, but if they go to kill the Obosh in response, they go to 2, cast Heat, and then this still kills them, so. Yep. Alright, cool. Game number 2. So I'm going to assume that Blood Moon is bad, and Relic is good. Now, I will say that they normally have Chalice in their sideboard. I don't think they're going to bring it in and play it on 1, because Chalice on 1 is... Maybe their thought process is that Chalice on 1 is better against us than it is against them, so they're willing to have it in play on 1, and maybe I should bring in answers to it. Because if you look at our curve, we can't really beat a Chalice on 1. I mean, look at our mana curve. But I just don't know that they're going to be willing to bring it in and play it on 1. It's kind of close. Maybe I could hedge a little bit and bring in like 2 sprees, and then if worst case they're bad, I just discard them to Pyromancer. Alright, we'll try 2 Flame Slash for 2 spree. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I feel like we have enough cheap removal that it's probably okay to do this. And again, like, with Seasoned Pyromancer in your deck, you can kind of justify bringing in almost anything, because if it's bad, you can just discard it. The sand's not great. I'm gonna keep it, though. This hand's good against, like, their Ragavan DRC hands. Okay. I think I'm just going to Firebolt it, because that's my sorcery. I could seal it, but I think I'd rather have the seal in play. I guess seal is better. Yeah, okay, I just realized that. Seal is better if they play Ragavan. So I should have played seal. I think about that. Yep. Alright. Seal, fetch, go. So I took a Ragavan hit that I did not need to. Sure. Maybe I should keep it in Blood Moon if they're not going to play around it. Well, I guess they didn't fetch, right? They just had 2 Steam Vents, so never mind. The nice thing about Seal 2 is I can, like... the really nice thing about Seal is you get to tap out for Obosh with a removal spell in play. So you actually get to use all of your mana and still keep up interaction. Seal is pretty good in this deck, I will say. Did they bobble? I mean, I'm going to fetch anyways, but... they bobbled themselves. Okay. Alright. Obosh, your turn. So they do have Delirium. Worth noting. This looks like a Murktide Regent, maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 7/7? Is that right? Yeah. And we have Sorcery Land. Probably going to discard a lot of cards to kill this thing. Just trying to think of what's the best way to go about it. So we can go Seal of Fire, Spike Field Hazard. That's Delirium, and then Heat. And then if they counter the Heat, then we have to Bolt plus Firebolt it. Good God, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, let me just discard our whole hand. I mean, I can't let them have a 7/7, so I guess I'll do it this way. Alright, discard my whole hand to kill your Murktide Regent. I think I top that, because it's better if they have another Murktide. Yeah, sure. God, this feels bad. Oops. Alright, it's dead. Your turn. Discard my whole hand to kill your thing. And then they just play an expressive iteration and gas back up. Oh yeah, we knew about that too. Yeah, right. Which was a reason to keep the thing on top. Oh, but yeah, they just exile it. Okay. Guess I should have bottomed it. Although it's a blank for them, so maybe keeping it's better. Because if we know they're going to hit us with Ragavan, keeping a blank on top that they can't cast this turn is probably better. So. This is not looking great. Alright. 3/5. What's up? Yeah, counter this. I mean, they just have Delirium anyways. You could just heat it. Yeah, I guess I'll take a draw step or two. I mean, I don't think there's any way I can win this game, but I will take a draw step. Is there any red cards we could play that gives that, like, is actually good against Murktide Regent? Because Relic or Progenitus just ain't it, you know? Like, there's just going to be so many spots where you draw Relic the turn after they play it, or, I don't know. It's just, I wish there was a red card, like a red Doomblade kind of thing. Okay, I'm off this game. You know what I mean? Just like a red Doomblade. I don't know if that exists. Alright, we saw a good portion of their deck and they didn't show us Chalice, so I think I'm going to not play around it. And could try and Blood Moon them on the play. They didn't seem to play around it, but I don't think it's worth it. It's too much, it's too cheesy, I think. But yeah, I feel like this matchup is probably not great. Murktide is just so hard to beat for a mono red deck. Like, normally how you beat Murktide from these decks is go under it, but this deck, without playing the prowess creatures, has a really hard time going under it. You know? Like, this deck's trying to play a much longer game. And just, like, trade one for one up the curve, play a Pyromancer, draw some cards, Obosh to hand, you know. But that does not line up well against Murktide Regent. Alright, show you my friendo. Alright, game 3 for all the marbles. Maybe I should be choosing to draw in this matchup. I'm going to keep this. I don't love this hand, but I think it's better than going to 6. I mean, it has, again, good interaction against their, like, monkey DRC starts, but not having our own threat is kind of... I think our best card by a mile in this matchup is probably Pyromancer. It's, like, the one way that we can, like, sort of keep up with them on cards. It's like our version of Expressive Iteration, to an extent. Alright, they kept on 7. I don't love to see that. Okay. I'm just going to start dumping my hand now. Alright, what you got? We got monkey covered, let me tell you. We got monkey covered. Thin my deck a little bit. I think I'm going to choose to not play the Pyromancer into their fairly obvious counter spell, so I'm just going to kind of time walk them a little bit. Just not play into their counter spell. See, this is good, because now they don't have counterspell up. So we can maybe just jam Pyromancer. Honestly, don't mind just discarding Lightning Bolt. Just to get some 1/1s in play, start pressuring them. Like, we're gonna, like, the thing about Pyromancer is if we can make a reasonable board and, like, force them to act, you know? Like, what if I just discarded Fury plus Bolt? Is that crazy? I don't think so. Because I don't want to discard Obosh. I think Obosh is higher upside, and Fury's just going to be so bad next turn when they have Counterspell up. Maybe I should discard the land instead of the Bolt. Yeah, okay, I guess that's better. Ooh, there we go. I like to see that. Yeah, see, this is kind of how we get under them, quote-unquote, you know? Put a bunch of stuff into play. So their Murktide can only be a 5/5, which is totally fine. Totally fine. Well, 5/5 right now, unless they have another Thought Scour or something like that. Like Burn Spell into Murktide, maybe. We'll see. Alright, just going to pass with all their mana up. Alright, I mean, I'm not going to activate the Den, and I'm definitely not going to cast Obosh pre-combat. I'm just going to go to attacks. They have, like, Snapcaster Mage, maybe? Bolt Ragavan. Okay, it's fine. Take 3. 13. We got 7 damage just chilling here. I mean, I'm not going to play the Obosh into their counter mana, so I'm just going to pass. Like, it's just so obvious they have a counterspell, right? I found out a way that we can kill Murktide Regent. It's gonna take a while, but if there's a will, there's a way. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Okay. So I could go end step, seal you, crack Blast Zone for 1. Puts them to 9. They might respond and kill the Pyromancer, but that's fine because then they go to 8 off the Elemental. We play land 5, hold up, activate Pyromancer. They're at 8, and we have a Bolt in our hand with 3 1/1s. The only issue is, like, if there is a turn that we get to resolve Obosh, having the Seal of Fires in play is really sicko, because the Seal of Fires are then 4 damage each. So this is kind of a tricky spot. Very, very tricky spot. Kind of want to sacrifice Blast Zone. This feels like such a huge spew of resources, though. Like, I'm just doming them for 4 with the seals, which maybe I'm just doing that anyways. Maybe that's my end. Maybe that's my end goal. You know. Ooh, the nice thing about this too is it maybe incentivizes them to cast their red spell end step, but they can't because we have the den, right? So they just can't do that. Because if they cast their red spell in response to the Blast Zone crack, then we just hit them with den. So I don't think they can afford to cast the burn spell now, because they might want to get a surveil, but if they do that, they just get cracked by the den. So they have Archmage's Charm. I guess that would suck. If I went to fire up the den and they had Archmage's Charm, my goodness. That would be about as bad as humanly possible. Alright, attack for 3. I imagine they're not going to... Alright, snap bolt, I guess? Sure, okay. Just let them block. Just gonna go to damage. They have 4 cards. Alright, go. Just gonna activate Pyromancer. Okay. So they very, very likely have Murktide Regent in hand. Sure, that's fine. That's less fine. That is less fine. Maybe now I can fire up the den and force a trade? Because they trade with the den and then they take 2, because I'm going to activate Pyromancer end step. So they trade with den and take 3 and go to 5. So maybe this is actually a good den turn. Because they can't even charm it now. Or, I just bolt this EOT, right? Oh no, I can't bolt EOT. Because I'm doing the Pyromancer thing, right? So I can't bolt EOT. If I draw land is actually decent, because I can go... God, this is tough. This is tough. So my options are Channeler. What if I went Channeler, heat your Channeler, attack for 2, pass, and then hold up Bolt? Channeler, heat your thing. If they counter the heat, I guess I can just bolt the Channeler, attack for 2, put them to 6. Or I could just fire up the den. Fire up the den, force a trade. They take 3, go to 5. They can't really afford to eat an elemental, right? Because then they would take 5 and go to 3. Does this become red? It does, so they could gust the den. That would be atrocious. Okay, I shouldn't do that then. Never mind. Because they probably have gust, right? Gust would make a lot of sense here. I don't have delirium. I just assumed I had delirium. What am I missing? I'm missing instant. Okay. So let's go bolt this. I don't want to land. Are they going to counter this? Aether Gust. Okay. So I can top the bolt, heap the channeler, bin the bolt to guarantee that I get delirium. Right? So top this, heap this, bin the bolt. Yeah, this works, right? Unless they have force. Okay. Kind of a big spew of resources, but I feel like that was one of the better ways that could have gone. I'm glad we didn't activate Den into Gust, though. That would have been atrocious. So now they Murktide. I guess they have another counterspell for the Obosh. Then they get to swallow up the Channeler. No. Holy Heat into Murktide. This is rough. Yeah. They don't have Delirium, though, but they probably just have a counterspell. Yeah. I don't really know what I could have done differently this game. I'm trying to think. So, I guess the turn that... I have to go back and watch this game. Because I feel like this was a game that I could have won. I guess just dash Ragavan. I'm going to play Seal of Fire in case they have Snapcaster Mage. But I guess playing the Seal pre-combat gives them full information, which maybe is worse. I assume they have something, right? Oh, they just had nothing. Okay, cool. Alright, word. Well, I guess I won this game anyways. I thought I was going to die to the Murktide, but that game was crazy. Wow. I'm going to go back. So I'm trying to think of, like, the turn... There was the turn where I end step made tokens with the Pyromancer, and my options were Activate Den, and I had Bolt, Heat, Obosh in my hand, and they had the 3/3. Man, that was a tough game. I'm surprised that I won that game, but I guess they just had nothing. So, not too bad. Nice little 4-1. Mono red control, doing mono red control things. I mean, it's, you know, I like to kind of joke about this deck, but this is probably one of the better versions of this deck that I've seen. So if you are a fan of the sort of Obosh red style, we're not going to call them prowess decks anymore, but I guess Obosh red mid-range, because that's kind of what this deck is. Blood Moon's really good right now, so you could do worse than playing Blood Moon, and Fury is also really good. So getting to play a good shell with both of those cards seems like it's in a pretty good spot. If you made it to the end of the video, be sure to like and subscribe. I appreciate y'all sticking with me. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll be sure to see you in the next one.